Did you think you'd be doing this when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Mark grew up in the city of Chicago, in the city.
So I think we had 4 trees. I think the city owned the 2 front ones, and we had maybe 3 in the back.
You still have family and friends back there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what do they all think of your life now?
I think it's a mixed bag.
I think some think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, why would you do that? And others are like, we love to vacation.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of across the board. So we ended up having an opportunity to move out of the Midwest, so we decided to come back this way, and you really found the place.
Yeah, I did. We wanted to find a place maybe with 40 or 50 acres. And I grew up north of the Adirondacks and really wanted to come back to this part of the country. I kind of staked out Vermont because it's always been a special place to me. Just, you know, kind of all came together from there. So, and then we found this house and land that was for sale, and it was like, okay, this works. So here we are, 5.5 years later.
Farming was, it all originated just from wanting to raise our own food, farm to table pretty much. We wanted to do an ethical way of raising meat, and we wanted to be cage-free. It was really important. So in order to make the leap from being vegetarian to feeling good about having meat on the table, we decided to raise our own meat and learn how to do everything from lambing to slaughter. And Vermont was a wonderful place for us to be to do that, because there's unlimited educational experiences here. So all you have to do is reach out and ask, and there's neighbors or there's friends that can get you in touch with people to learn how to do things. So as far as educational opportunities, it was still a learning curve, but the resources were there for us to do it.
So that's a pretty big jump. You're a recovering vegetarian?
Yes.
Yeah. Explain that transition. That was many years ago, though.
Many years ago. That's when I was up to on and off until about 30 years old. I think actually the more we looked at it, the less of an impact it was environmentally to raise your own meat than it was to be buying a lot of the vegetarian options, because they're processed. Exactly, plastics and processed and chemicals in there that, you know, if you can't sound it out and you don't know what it is, maybe you shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah, the first time we slaughtered chickens, I think it took a bottle of wine to get through it, right?
Yeah, they were a little gnarly looking, but as Julia says, a little sauce and you'd never know. So we try to use the whole animal when we can. We call her Grandma, she's old.
Aww.
She probably shouldn't be having any babies anymore.
I don't know, we've had so many lambs recently, it's hard to keep up. But I think you're right, I think it may be 39 now.
We are tagging in about 2 weeks. We're going to start tagging the government. Through the government, we need to do that. So we'll know. I think that'll be interesting to actually have an official count. We're able to slaughter our own for our own consumption. As far as selling it to the public, it has to be USDA inspected. And I understand that, because, you know, not all farms are the same, and it's just for the safety of it. So we found a USDA slaughterhouse, and they actually walked us through the process, and they had to be tagged and registered and whatnot. So just, it's a process. In order to sell it, you need to have it done by a USDA inspected facility.
Could talk a little bit about the hierarchy of the animals here. Who's in charge?
Oh, who's in charge? Okay. Well, actually, the guardian dogs, or the Maremma dogs, would be the top tier. And what we have a 3-tier security system. First, it's the barking, and then after the barking, it's a hot wire that runs around the yard. And then after that, if something does get under or over the fence, then the dogs actually do their work to get rid of it. So they're at the top of the food chain. After that, we actually have a goose named Charlie, who has decided that she's going to be one of the guardian dogs, and so she rules all the chickens, and she thinks she's a little stronger than she is. After that, it's the ram, and there's only one ram. That's all we need for the 13 ewes. After that, there is kind of a matriarch structure, and then the chickens, I guess, would be on the... No, actually, the rabbits are under the chickens, so they really are the lowest.
But describe the amount of work that goes into this. I mean, this does seem like, especially in the high season now, it would be, it seems like a job. Like, how much time are you putting into this, and what do your days look like?
During lambing season, you know, we may be out here several hours if we have a lamb delivering. You know, we just want to kind of hang out and see what happens.
The labor peaks and troughs. You know, now we'll be shearing in a couple weeks. That take a little extra time, and vaccines take a little time, and So hoof care. So there's certain days we have chores that will take up all day, but for the most part, day-to-day operations, it's not bad. An hour and a half, and we like it, so it's kind of like a hobby instead of just a chore. So, I mean, even cleaning out the barn, that sounds a less desirable task, is not bad. There's always this feeling of accomplishment afterwards. And then you got these little guys that make it worth it.